All right, here's the big news coming in. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin lands in Tel Aviv. U.S.'s Defense Secretary meets with Israel Defense Minister after Antony Blinken, U.S.'s Defense Secretary, now arriving into Israel. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin meeting with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and the IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi at the military's underground command center. Of course, this comes right amid this war that Israel is having with the Hamas terror organization, and it's now the 7th day. America has fully stood behind Israel. In fact, Antony Blinken in his statement recently has said, until America exists, Israel is not alone in this war. That's as far as the assurances that have come in from United States, with U.S.'s Defense Secretary now the second to arrive into Israel's Tel Aviv. He's meeting with the Defense Minister of Israel along with the IDF Chief, Herzi Halevi. And this meeting is held at the Military Underground Command Center. The 7th day of this war, as it continues, escalation on both sides. Hamas hasn't stopped firing, and Israel's counter-strike has nearly devastated the entire Gaza Strip. In fact, at this point, U.S. has also aided Israel with military ammunition. As we see, the U.S. Defense Secretary himself, Lloyd Austin, has now landed in Tel Aviv. The U.S. Defense Secretary meets with Israel Defense Minister, and this meeting comes right after U.S. Defense Secretary Antony Blinken visited Israel just a day ago. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin meeting with the Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi at military's underground command center. Gaurav Sawant stays with us live right from the epicenter. Gaurav, take us through this visit and what it means. What kind of push and a boost does it give to Israel with the U.S. Defense Minister or Defense Secretary now arrives into Tel Aviv?
It's a very significant visit. It's a very important visit, and it sends out a very clear signal of the United States standing with Israel. That's the message that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken gave just a short while back when he said that as a father and as a Jew, he feels the pain of the people of Israel. And that's exactly the message that is coming out from the United States. So the USS Gerald Ford, one of the largest aircraft carriers in the world, with its 110 plus aircraft, fighter jets, other aircraft on board, they are on their way to the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. That sends out a very clear signal. Then there are other aircraft carriers. The Eisenhower is on its way to this area. So America is sending out a very clear message that the United States stands with Israel in this war. Israel also requires a lot of military hardware. It requires a lot of ammunition, not just missiles and rockets and air-to-ground ammunition, but it will also require more ammunition for its anti-missile defense system. It would also require small arms ammunition. All of that the supplies are being ramped up by the United States of America. In fact, if you recall, from 2016, America had a 10-year defense hardware plan for Israel, which includes $38 billion worth of military hardware to be sold to Israel, to be given to Israel. But right now, it's more than just that. Much more is going to be given to Israel in its war against Hamas, because this attack on the Hamas, by the Hamas on Israel, has hurt democracies across the world. And if there isn't a very clear response, and this is the word that we get from Israel, if there isn't a clear response from all democracies, then forces like the Hamas, Islamic State, Hamas, in Indian context, you have terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Pakistan ISI-backed Jaish-e-Mohammed. All these organizations will be emboldened unless democracies around the world unite against radical Islamist terror. So the world, the democracies across the world are very clear that action needs to be taken and the world needs to stand united. In fact, Nabila, you'd recall Prime Minister Narendra Modi's also given out that clear signal in his address to G20 parliaments when he said, against terrorism, the world has to take a very clear, precise, and distinct stand that there can be zero tolerance for terror and there cannot be different definitions of terror. So, US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's visit to Israel at this point of time is extremely crucial. Nabila.